Analogies are a powerful tool of inductive reasoning. When we analogize, we compare two things for important similarities. When we do this in our reasoning, we say we are using inductive analogy. Here's a good example. Premise 1. Animals alive today that have sharp, cone-shaped teeth are usually carnivores. Premise 2. This fossilized jaw has sharp, cone-shaped teeth. Conclusion: this animal was a carnivore. You can see that what we've done is to look at the similarities of two things: the teeth of modern carnivores and the teeth of the fossil, and concluded that what is true about the modern sharp-toothed animals is also true about this extinct animals. Of course, there's no guarantee here, but it seems highly likely. The reasoning is inductive. This inductive transference of truth claims from one situation to another, built upon similarities, is a very common way to reason. Generally, the argument looks like this. Premise 1. A and B share the properties X, Y, and Z. Premise 2. A also has property W. Conclusion: because A and B are similar in these other ways, B also has property W. One immediate consequence of understanding analogies is that the more properties two things share, the more likely an additional property will also be shared. In other words, the more alike they are in general, the better the analogy. People use analogies when they say things like, atoms are like miniature solar systems and electrons are like little planets. Like households, countries should not spend more than they earn. People on mobile phones are like zombies. They have no awareness of the world around them. Each of these could be used to form an argument. Analogies are used poorly when the two things being compared are very different. Think about this example of an argument using analogy. The death penalty is like a lighthouse. Just as a lighthouse keeps ships off the rocks, so too the death penalty deters people from committing serious crimes. Just as we can't be sure how many ships the lighthouse has saved, we can't know how many serious crimes the death penalty has prevented. We wouldn't knock down the lighthouse, so therefore we shouldn't get rid of the death penalty. While it might seem like a lighthouse and the death penalty have very few similarities, a potentially persuasive argument can still be made. Now, evidence shows that the death penalty does not affect the rate of serious crime, so superficially convincing analogies may not end up working very well if the two things being compared are really very different. When the two things are very different, we can identify the fallacy of faulty analogy. We recognise this when people say, "That's comparing apples and oranges." The best way to defeat a poor analogy is to derive a ridiculous claim using the analogy. If someone were to argue that pets are like children and that they therefore should be allowed on the bed, one could accept the analogy and conclude that we should therefore teach our pets to read or give them an allowance.
Really struggling with this assignment.
Have you even started yet?
Well, no, because they haven't given us the criteria sheet, so I have no idea what to start with.
Well, that's like saying you can't start painting a fence because you don't know how much paint you have.
The fallacy of faulty analogy. The analogy fails. There are far more differences than similarities.